Okay, let's unpack this feeling.
Mm.
It's it's this gnawing sense that you're capable of so much more, but you're somehow operating at, what, 60% capacity?
Mm-hmm. And you feel perpetually stuck in the same loop.
Exactly.
Mm.
We see this play out constantly. I mean, you can almost picture it.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
always think of someone, let's call her Sarah, and it's almost midnight. She's sitting there scrolling through LinkedIn job postings, looking for that massive career change.
That's something better that's out there.
Right. But at the same time, the project that would actually showcase her skills, the one that could get her a promotion, it's just sitting there, half finished on her desktop.
And she's filled that gap, the one between her reality and her potential, with a kind of planning. It feels productive, but it's really just comfortable anxiety.
She's confusing motion with progress.
That's it. And that tension you're describing, this ambitious but stalled person, it's incredibly common. Our whole deep dive today is really about the difference between people who change and those who just think about it.
And it's not about some superior talent, is it?
No, not at all. It comes down to a really practical understanding that personal growth, it compounds. But it only compounds when you consistently choose the slightly uncomfortable action,
The one you'd rather avoid.
the one you're naturally inclined to avoid. The thing is, time is going to pass anyway, whether you're growing or just, standing still. The leverage is in what you do with those small choices.
Okay, that's where we have to start then. The compound effect of small decisions.
Yeah.
Because it feels so counterintuitive, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
How can a choice as small as finishing one email today versus scrolling social media, how could that possibly matter in 5 years?
Yeah.
It just doesn't feel significant in the moment.
And that is the entire trick of it.
Yeah.
The choices feel insignificant precisely because their impact isn't immediate.
So there's no instant reward.
Right. Finishing that one difficult report tonight isn't going to double your salary tomorrow. But what it does on a neurological level is profound.
Okay.
It builds undeniable, hard evidence within your own mind that you're a person who follows through.
You're proving it to yourself.
You're proving it to yourself. I mean, think about it this way. When you choose to finish a task, you strengthen the neural pathway for execution. When you choose avoidance, you strengthen the pathway for delay.
So with every choice, you're basically making the next similar choice either a little bit easier or a little bit harder.
You are literally pre-programming your future self, one tiny decision at a time.
So you're building this internal portfolio of evidence. But how do you stay motivated when the external rewards are so far off? That feeling of inertia can be just overwhelming.
You have to learn to recognize the internal reward first.
Which is what exactly? A feeling.
It's the feeling of agency. When you take ownership of one small, difficult task, you develop that muscle, the belief that you can actually influence outcomes.
Ah, so it's a confidence thing.
It's the confidence in your own follow-through. That feeling is the first reward, and it creates the feedback loop you need to keep making those choices. The difference in 5 years isn't some magic bullet. It's just consistently choosing the slightly harder path today.
Okay, that makes sense. Let's pivot to the emotion that stops most people from making that choice in the first place, which is, discomfort, anxiety.
Mm-hmm.
When you think about starting something big, you feel that tightening in your chest, and we're wired to see that as a warning, as a sign to retreat.
We are. But this research just turns that completely upside down. That discomfort isn't a stop sign. It's more like a high priority alert.
An alert for what?
An alert that you're near a significant gap between your current reality and a really exciting potential future. The anxiety shows up when the stakes are high.
So the bigger the opportunity, the bigger the anxiety.
Often, yeah. The key is learning to tell the difference between chronic anxiety and useful anxiety.
What's the difference there?
Well, chronic anxiety comes from vague goals. Like if your goal is just be more successful or be happier, that's so undefined. It just creates this paralyzing background noise.
There's nothing specific to attack.
Exactly. But when you get specific, I will launch my website by October 31st, and you pair it with a concrete step. I will finish the wireframe tonight. That anxiety transforms.
How so?
It becomes a directional signal. It tells you, hey, you're moving towards something that matters. It's proof you're pushing boundaries, not that you should be running away from them.
So that's the mindset flip. The people who seem to accomplish so much, they're not anxiety-free.
Not at all.
They just interpret that feeling differently. They see it as a sign they're in the right place doing something important instead of a reason to stop.
They let it fuel the action rather than paralyze it.
Speaking of people who look like they have it all figured out, let's talk about the illusion of natural talent.
Ah, yes. The magic of the expert.
Right. You see a great chef in a busy kitchen, a programmer who finds a bug in seconds, a manager who is just completely calm in a crisis. And it looks like a gift they were born with.
It looks like magic because the thousands of hours of training are invisible. That fluidity, that effortlessness, it's really just pattern recognition.
So it's not a gift, it's accumulated experience.
Accumulated through deliberate practice and often immense failure. Think about the chef. They don't need a timer because they've burned hundreds of dishes. They've internalized the patterns of success and failure.
And the programmer.
The programmer isn't a genius. They've just spent days, maybe weeks of their life debugging similar kinds of code before. They recognize the pattern of the error instantly.
So that calm manager isn't just naturally stoic. They're calm because they've seen 10 other crises before this one and realized the world didn't end.
Exactly right. So when you see someone who seems naturally gifted, the takeaway shouldn't be discouragement. It should be a reminder that what you're seeing is just crystallized effort.
Talent is just consistency made visible.
I like that, yes.
This all ties perfectly into the next big idea, which is the ownership mindset. And this is a tricky one because people often mistake it for self-blame.
And that's a crucial distinction to make. It's not about blaming yourself for things outside your control. It's a fundamental redirection of focus.
From what to what?
From attribution to influence. So let's say a big project fails. The default human reaction is to spend energy figuring out whose fault it was.
Blame the market, blame a colleague, blame the vendor.
Right. The ownership mindset sidesteps that completely. The immediate question becomes, how could I have communicated more clearly? What system could I have put in place to catch this sooner?
So even if you were only 10% responsible for the failure, you focus 100% of your energy on that 10%.
Because that's the only part you can control for next time. If you focus on the 90% that was someone else's fault, you've learned nothing and have zero control over the future.
It's the same when you miss an opportunity, like a promotion.
The non-ownership approach obsesses over the unfairness of it all. The ownership approach asks, what skills, what results, what network would make me impossible to overlook next time?
It's a refusal to be a victim of your circumstances.
It is. People who get what they want spend almost no time explaining why things aren't their fault. They spend all their time figuring out how to get a different result.
Okay, so let's pull all these threads together now. Because they don't operate in isolation, do they? There's this acceleration effect.
Exactly. It's like a flywheel. Once you get it spinning, each part reinforces the others.
How does that work?
Okay, so you embrace the compound effect. You finish what you start, even small things. That builds real execution confidence.
Right.
That confidence then allows you to interpret your anxiety correctly, which pushes you to take on bigger challenges instead of shying away.
And those bigger challenges are what build the invisible experience.
Yes, the deep pattern recognition that makes future work look effortless. And all the while, the ownership mindset ensures you're learning from every single outcome, good or bad, which gives you even more control.
It's a virtuous cycle. Ownership lets you push through anxiety, which helps you build experience, and that experience creates new opportunities.
And that's how the huge transformation happens. Not in one big epiphany. It happens slowly, building momentum under the surface, until one day you realize you're operating on a completely different level.
So for anyone listening right now, feeling that gap between where they are and where they could be, the message isn't to plan some massive, stressful life overhaul.
No, absolutely not. The path starts with finding just one area where you're avoiding something important.
Could be a difficult conversation, finishing a report.
Getting the first 2 pages of that proposal written, anything, and then you just take the smallest possible step forward today.
The goal isn't immediate perfection.
The goal is consistent, intentional choice. You're working to become the kind of person who reflexively chooses growth over comfort, action over analysis.
And ownership over excuses.
Exactly. And those daily choices compound. From the outside, your life will start to look incredibly intentional, even lucky. But on the inside, you'll know it's just the natural result of all those tiny decisions.
In the end, time will pass anyway. That's the one thing you can't stop. So the question you really have to ask yourself is this. 5 years from now, will you be the same person dealing with the same problems?
Or will you be the person who actually built the life you wanted while everyone else was still planning to get started?